This post focuses on two issues that arise in partial takings: grade changes and impacts of zoning. It also discusses a clever way that we had of resolving this particular matter. We're in Pittsfield Township, where in order to pave Textile Road, the Washtenaw County Road Commission needed to acquire property rights from both the land that I'm standing on and the land across the street where you see the construction equipment. Both were owned by the same property owner and were part of the same parcel. These two properties illustrate hidden just compensation issues that can be derived from both grade changes that are not going to be revealed on geometric plans and zoning issues. This property was improved with an old house. However, the highest and best use was for commercial development. Before the taking, property was at grade with the dirt road. After the taking, the grade of the property was elevated in order to meet the grade of the interchange. Additionally, Pittsfield Township had an unusual provision of its zoning ordinance. It required the building to be built exactly 10 feet from the edge of right-of-way, so approximately where I'm standing on the property relative to the sidewalk. This meant that in order to develop the property after the taking, the entire property would need to be brought level to grade, cost that would not have had to have been expended before the taking. Additionally, Pittsfield Township zoning ordinance required trees to be planted on the edge of the property lines, and it also required property owners to contribute into the tree fund if they were removing landmark trees, like the tall tree behind me. But if you're going to level the property to an elevated grade, that's going to result in the need to clear all the existing trees and plant new ones to replace them and contribute to the tree fund instead of allowing the landmark tree to simply remain. These were all additional costs that created a very substantial just compensation claim relative to this part of the entire property. The other half of the larger parcel was across the street. It's triangular, and the Road Commission needed to take a piece of the right corner of the triangle. Because the zoning ordinance required construction exactly 10 feet from the right-of-way, before the taking, you could construct a building at a normal right angle. After the taking, you needed to construct the building with two oblique angles. This made the layout of the building less feasible and made the construction costs higher. As a result, there was a just compensation claim on this parcel. We were quite far apart, but we came up with a clever way to solve the problem in a way that benefited both the Road Commission by resolving the litigation, my client, and Pittsfield Township, who was not a party to the lawsuit. As you can see, there's major construction equipment on the triangular property. Pittsfield Township is planning to undertake a road improvement project on Michigan Avenue. That would have necessitated yet another taking from the triangular parcel. In order to resolve the case and avoid having to haggle about the extent to which the property was diminished in value after the taking, Pittsfield Township agreed to buy both properties. This allowed them to avoid the expense of litigating another condemnation action and allowed them to save money on their construction project by using the property as a staging ground. When they're done with their project, they'll be able to sell these properties and recoup a portion or perhaps all of their investment in purchasing them to resolve the just compensation issues in the original taking. It's rare to resolve a partial taking claim through the purchase of the property. I've had many clients that have asked if that was a potential. In this situation, it was real because I was aware of what else was happening in the community and able to identify a related entity, the township, that had a stake in both the condemnation and a stake in the use of the property. All these issues need to be evaluated in a partial taking claim.